Namaste, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Christmas. I hope you guys, I hope you guys get your wish, but I actually hope you guys get health, a tremendous amount of health because health is wealth. Let's kick it off. Just like NFL on Thursday with Christmas, they are back with holiday games, back with another Saturday action, and so is your guy back with your favorite show, with your favorite bro, back with Quick Take Season 3's Episode 17B, the penultimate week of NFL action. One more week to go after this, so let's kick it off right. First, in the city of Angels, it is the Los Angeles Chargers and Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert hosting the team, the quarterback, the head coach. I don't want to say the complete squad because they did add some additions, but the for the most part for the roster. But it is the Houston Texans coming back, and there is revenge on the mind for the Los Angeles Chargers. But I am still rocking out with the Houston Texans. Why will I say that? Let me tell you why. Firstly, it is the injured offensive tackles. Yes, the Chargers have had a phenomenal year. Did anybody predict this? Did I, with my distasteful divisional rivalry, did I predict this? Absolutely not. Losing your star left tackle and then your prize tackle. I don't even want to just call him a right tackle because I think that just kind of unserves him. See, I do give him credit where it's due. I think Joe Alt is going to be a Hall of Famer going forward. I, I actually mentioned this before the season started. I didn't wish this upon him, but I did mention go back and watch pre-takes before the seasons. And Rashawn Slater is likely to get hurt. Joe Alt's going to go to the other side, replace him on that left side, get that left tackle money, kind of like how Orlando Brown did. Started out as a right tackle with Ronnie Stanley, wanted to go to the left because the money's on the left. And that's where Joe Alt's going to want to go end up eventually, if not demand that type of money for sure on that right side. And hey, maybe he opens the door for a right tackle to get the same type of money. But I don't think that is going to be likely the case with the injury history that Slater has piled up. More than likely, even though they just paid him um, within the next 2 years, I would assume that the Chargers trying to get away from that contract and Joe Alt goes to that side with his 5th year option and then, gets that left tackle money and then they find another right tackle. But that's for the future. For today's matchup, like I mentioned, the revenge for that 32-12 loss with the 4 picks for Justin Herbert. And in this one, without, like I mentioned, 2 star tackles against the defensive ends of the Houston Texans. You have Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter rushing from the edges. You have guys on the interior who, like set the tone. Let's say like Tomagai and those type of guys. You don't really hear the names often, but they're there. They do their dirty work, and they let the other guy feast on the outside. That's why Will Anderson has 11.5 sacks. Not just because of that, but it's a team effort. And then behind him, there's a slew of linebackers. Aziz Al Shair. I think he just got nominated to the Pro Bowl. Shout out to the guy. There's linebackers like him. Christian Harris is, gotten diminished to the bench role, I do believe, or if not a rotational role. Their secondary is phenomenal. That is the next matchup I do want to mention. Their secondary, I do believe each one of them has 4 picks. That's, like phenomenal as a defensive unit. And then you play up against a wide receiver core with Quentin Johnson, who got his confidence back. Ladarius McConkey, let's just say. He's going to route somebody up, more than likely get some catches, do his thing as well. It's not that he's going to be stopped; he's going to be slowed down, and that's where the difference going to be. And then you have Keenan Allen, the veteran. So it's a very fun matchup if you look at both sides. CJ Stroud coming back home to LA. That's another underlying story to look at. However, the biggest underlying story in this one with the pass rushers that I mentioned is going to be Justin Herbert's hand, the rhythm of his timing, his throws. I think the biggest factor is going to be his legs, like most of the time. So those linebackers are going to have to be disciplined with their eyes and being led by a linebacker as a head coach. I do believe that will play a part. And I think the biggest factor in this one's going to be the running game between both teams. Is it going to be Woody Marks and Nick Chubb who set the tone, or is it going to be Omarion Hampton who runs the ball it is, Jim Harbaugh style. Does Greg Roman go back to that, or does he keep on, changing up his style? And Herbert's going to throw for 50 times, which has been out of the norm for that whole group combined, really. But they want to win with Herbert, and they have been winning so far. But is that going to translate into the playoffs? We are going to have to see. One last thing between these two teams, both the head coaches have Niner ties, both, tied to Cali, even Harbaugh with Stanford as well. So it is that there, but let's move on to the other matchup with the other Harbaugh. Now it is the main event time. No Lamar Jackson, although no Jordan Love on the other side either. But it is Ravens Packers in Lambeau Field. So am I going to complain? Absolutely not. Also, it is Saturday, not Thursday. Warriors are not playing today, so Christmas Day. I apologize, NFL. We were in the NBA market, but we are back to the NFL action at hand. 2-1 that day, so let's go back. Hopefully, we go 2-0 today, but let's see how this one goes. Like I mentioned, no Lamar Jackson, no Jordan Love. A healthier Baltimore just roster in a sense. They still have a lot of injuries to deal with, especially in the trenches, I want to say defensively, but I want to say this has probably been the healthiest roster they've had, although they're without their biggest component in Lamar Jackson. On the other side, I think Packers, they've started out phenomenally, and then the injuries started piling up. Devontae Wyatt went down, then Micah Parsons went down, or vice versa. Jordan Love, like I mentioned, is out in this one. Malik Willis almost was not going to make it. So injuries are piling up at the wrong time for the Packers as they are making their playoff push as well. However, I think their playoff seeding is more than likely to be secured based off their record, and 9 wins. For the Ravens, they are already one down. They need to, get back up on that win column to make that Week 18 matchup against the Steelers for the crown of the AFC North and to get into the playoffs and give themselves a chance. And this is probably my last hope because, like last week we already mentioned the Harbaugh, Henry, like the dilemma in the fourth quarter after he had a over 100-yard rushing game. They took him out. They ended up losing the game. I don't know like what the cause and effect is, but if you go back to even last year, they, early in the season they lost to the Raiders in Baltimore, close one, but like, or 2 years ago, shoot, I don't even remember. But Gardner Minshew and Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers second half comeback in Baltimore, and that kind of has showed up time after time after time again, and it has become repetitive. It's maybe a change is to be needed. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but we're gonna have to see what is up there. Yeah. Outside of that, it's just the injuries that play a factor there. Um, we're gonna have to see which running game really comes back because Derrick Henry, like I mentioned, do they go back and trust him? Are they really, um, relying on that running game because Snoop did get the win last week, but against the Packers on the road, Jeff Hadley's, got his defense buzzing as well. It's going to be a tough one. No Devontae Wyatt, no Michael Parsons rushing the quarterback, so kind of gives him a little bit more time. But the offensive line of Baltimore is kind of wishy-washy to say the least. And then if you want to keep it going, their left guard, their center, and their right tackle, I do believe, are questionable. Plus, Elton Jenkins is already on IR. Uh, Not having that offensive line to rely on for the Packers will make it even more difficult, especially without a quarterback that they could really rely on. So it really falls down on Josh Jacobs' shoulder. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be D. Henry? I'm gonna lean on the desperation of the Baltimore Ravens in this one. Let me know what you guys think down below. And you already know I will be back tomorrow. Till next time, enjoy the matchups at hand. Go like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go catch up on all the other quick takes. Till next time.